Aho Ediamo enyume Wendy Shea wono so wode nsem bi aba montene mu a efa TGM ho eno so yede mu nsem yede ebeba besomo enyume weni nsem ne afoforo pi ayabo ano yede besomo se no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so yede asida kase ebema yabo afo we sabibia no wo mutimi eso ya sinema yede nsem no yede ebro na mekai wo se nsem etwegu ewe abefo ntentam fidie ne so Facebook and YouTube KFM TV GH eno tubetimi ahwebi na wa share na wa like na wa dwenche no so die go ase ama me kama kenkan for me maami esin koma me dane me ho sema ba me ba nsem no me hya ase e de ama Ebusi afọ ya sai mamu ina akwaba edamasi se enwume muguso etimu TV no ha mohwe no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so na mekoso kai o se enwume nsem no etwegu ewe abefo ntintam fidie ne so Facebook and YouTube KFM TV GH no tubetimi ahwebi na wa share na wa like na wa dwenche no so de gu ase ama me kama na me nsem na se dia ma odi Dennis Miracle Abuaje na wone so edin nsem bi abetudwa wode ekwama NDC amenyo committee the National Democratic Congress NDC amenyo na wode kasafa illegal mining ho wochem se nkebeya NDC amenyo kono wo monhwe na galamsey ayekos wo my Ghana ha no wo monye no ma dodo na emfangu kwan se ne beya ebetimi aboa mayakon etiasade we nsem ana Dennis Miracle Abuaje wode abetudwa ma woni nsemtwofo hia woni wo mo etwetwen enkomo
ekebi mesrewo NDC phone tumi anya hwe amaye kura galamsey die omo stop it omu bio ma no hwe nyankopon hata soro e ka che Ghana fo nyina se akokora wadi 80 years no na danko ekufo ado e na ye galamsey wo Ghana e chechire to Ghana fo tiri ma Ghana fo nyina egidiye 1 week to elections na NDC for ye demonstration NDC members say Professor Jampo mo e chechire aban se ekwan bia so declare state of emergency wo my way mu 1 week to elections MPP ade ba kwa ye fast we lose elections ye galamsey mo ba ben mu a moje forest river bodies aboso na mutu ye gold no say no ese ye nsuo no ene NDC functionaries in abowura river bodies and forest what repel
mine in the forest area
inti mine wo forest bepem ne endra me nyamo se menko ye won bre metua time bi aka ho eba ne sen na wa repair airline no ne yeguso he ebu akwa south MCA say NDC constituency chairman ba na ye galamsey Apadencha East NDC chairman eso soja for many chim kum no Tano North MCE yeso no one car in order nam no de galamsey for ho ban everywhere across the country NDC form penny for me ensa in a reform to the state security. Say yeshwe mu so mo ye galamsey ya. Ekebi, if we don't call this government out, say one yeshwe krampo no. Promises are say wo be ye in the fight against galamsey no. Ye no keke mayen wonye ye. Not a single new strategy and a ban we buy ye. Omo put in place in the fight against galamsey. Why?
Miracles.
Ebusi afano ntinsem ana Dennis Miracle Abuaje wono so edi abetudwa ye di bi ababesum na ne nsem ni wan fans wa wosan edi nsem dodo na egu kwan ma ne fa Ghana fo ho ene kwan aban fa so a wo so nsem ano e wo my Ghana ha se no ana Dennis Miracle Abuaje ndedwe wono so wo kasa edi fa ne nsem no ebi eni
e mamo me yam bongu me back to school and then the hostel bill cost 7,800 wabra nano na otua 6,200 that time no, we say na me mo nsema because that time na dollar 14. I na 40 but na me to 62. Dollar back 10. We say me mo nsema ba me ba no me use kankasa ko deep ga no. Me to 7,800.
At least o man pegina I believe o maka.
Me ye hia ni. Me okukua. Me best school. We say first year, we betua ma me. Me ba no we just come ma me. Nti me ko bob say me ko tua e. Na wo fund ya ma me. Me we first year ma call level 200. Me ko do level 200 no me hia ni na bentu 1,006 no. Wo the fees call 2,006. We are telling you about the realities of the people. We are making the figures and the reality. And your rhetoric so. nkrofo bre kofo bre aban no e dey 2 year trim say ye bre so ye okay. That is what we are talking about. These are the realities. Si fam no ko abeka janhye na ko bi so mo hato mo na enti no credit dollar aba fam no credit inflation aba fam no credit, but the reality is that it's not reflecting in the lives of the people. And no yaka bone aban eye wasede ne say obehwe na mabra aba ko yi
nti e dey na ma wo hu ne say aban no e ka ebi moko because o boss so say o pese mo be kasa ubi wa no so kasa na e ka wano ato
e na so ka mo so wo ye MPP ni nti dem dey call kofodu
MPP ni o mbeka ni nti na
MPP for ye nipa MPP for omo to aba MPP e 42% of the population. No. Aban way doesn't even have 60% of the population behind them. Nti yanto man na momu there are 42%. Aban doesn't even have 60% simple. So you don't shut everybody up. Okay, almost say $1 above them. Kwame boat, a taxi driver. Or no quack or just city. Or coffee or to electricity bill no with your water bill. The electricity bill no water bill cost we say one man want to know.
Admit so say any money be hono mo above.
Boboy
oil any rice and then the
ambassador.
These are consumable.
You know the reason why the reason why yeah me use sanya money film. Me taba na me tell latte na me go school latte in the 90s no. Afemu nyina December 25th na me di rice. Anopa ye be di benku. Ewie na di ba ye me na di fufu. Sa. I am telling you say na ye do ye fu. Me na ye do ye fu. I am telling you say when you want to measure the cost of living for the Ghanaian people. It can be men you so momo. Oh, maybe say osisi asa ababa ko ya obetu ya kasa ko ya na agree. You know why? Because you directly will go and change dollar and go and use for private business. And you directly go to the pump and go and buy fuel. So let me go out here say. Intakwe ba mo ya do saying. How many vehicles are in this country?
Miracles you so wow.
Me. Na say me dey da frame team. Me dey da frame team be. Say me you so me ho dey an kade nkan ko me kure ntumi ndi. And the reality is that don't let us use 10% of the population and superimpose it over the entire population. And when a man in here for the year on a casino.
Ebusiafo no ntin same way ana Dennis Miracle Abuaje wode abetudwa yen so ye de bi ababeso ye to ansem no said dia ma dia Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Rimsai na wode nsem bi abetudwa fa boko ensem ne ho na wo December bosmine de toso eduonu 9 e wa fimpinuni eduonu enum ana ya Haji Seidu Abagre wo mode no ekotwe aban ekokumni nia e fa boko mintimi ho ase ekoso ho na no ana Deputy Attorney General de abetudwa wo chem se Alhaji bebi a woda sesi ande woda bebi e pan no to bibia enka na kuma enfanto ne yem.
Alhaji Seidu is in good spirit. I spent a greater part of yesterday's afternoon with him. Very sharp in his recollection. We had conversation about his lawyer as well. And so I can assure the public and people of Boku that Alhaji is in good spirits as well. He was with his son when I visited and we had conversation about a number of things which I cannot disclose. About today's proceedings, we chose to, this is a human rights issue as well. So we decided to step in instead of waiting to be formally served, which will prolong the matter to appear and then cut short all the processes. I think we've made a lot of progress today in court. There's some basic understanding, yet we have some of the issues not, we could not agree on some of the issues. One of which is the lawfulness of the detention. As you may be aware, the detention is pursuant to a court order. So that we believe constitutes a good ground. And if the court order is not lawful, as I see my learned friend argues, I think there is a way of dealing with that, and that we do not believe should be habeas corpus application. But then again, the judge has adjourned the case to 26. We will come and then conclude the matters. But in the meantime, I've just heard counsel's concern about access to his clients. That will be facilitated, and he will have access to his client, and because the client is in touch with his family who have been there. So if counsel is raising the objection, we will definitely.
Ebusiafo eno timra Deputy Attorney General Edeni Semebewie no ana lawyer ba ko enso edi tudwa wo chem se isi ade eye battle no mugu so awo mo ehwe se on beka bibia na bibia aba asumdwem na de omo hwehwe se ebesi e oboko ene no potem no etimi esi e wa asumdwem mo ede amo bibia same way ana lawyer no so ede eto edwa.
Okay, or a local tree, right? So the court looks at it and says that there's something in it. So I will grant it that the AG should respond. If there was nothing in it, if it was a foolish case, the judge would have said no, they shouldn't respond. But the second part we didn't get, which was that on that day they should bring Alhaji physically. As we stand here, it's been day 18. Day 18, 1-8. I've not seen my client. When I asked to see him, NIB declined. I asked the Minister for Interior, they declined and told me that I should go and write a letter, something that we don't do. So effectively, that's further delay. So I see it as a denial, etc. So we want to see him. I haven't seen him in 18 days, not in Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana. But that notwithstanding, I will appeal to Nairi and the subjects that they should be patient. Let's be patient. Between today and 26th, it's not much time. Okay, so I ask for calm. That's very, very important. Let's have peace. Let's have some calm. No matter what, 26th will come, then we will get to the bottom of this matter. So that day we would argue, meaning that we are saying the detention is unlawful. It looks like from what the Republic is saying today, they don't agree that the detention is this unlawful. So that they will argue and then the court.
Ebusia finance in some way and a lawyer Martin Pegbu were they abetija yensu yedibi ababe sumne to asem so ede amode and de ana police recruiting no wo screening no shasie e wo my Ghana say and they obe pay one cremantem ha eye nipa dodo na embebunu dodo na ana omu na epese wo motim be ye aban bambofo e wo my Ghana ha say ya eno enam so ama Interior Minister Eyon Monyafo Muntaka Mubarak wobone homodin ekopie mu ewo screening centers ahodro binom asia wode nsem dodo na etudwa wochem se wonu de won pese protocol bia ebekoso oho senia screening no ekos no wobehwe se ebekoso totin se protocol bi bebem de enya ade a obeje atum de biara da in some way ana Interior Minister editudwa me wokopie mu ho eni ni inspection a wode gu kwan mu ewo ho.
Please don't be deceived by anybody that there's a way to do something. There are bosses in town. One person has done it and is not being arrested. Another last week when he was telling people, even if you disqualify, you can contact this number and it's not looking fake. Don't make sure that it's dealt with. That's it. So please don't get yourself involved, right? We wish you well.
Ebusia finance Interior Minister Muntaka Mohammed wono anokopie mu ewo screening center CB asia wode nsem dodo na etudwa yen so yede bi ababesom yede wo efri sansem ne mu na ide wa consent from there public account committee na ndedue wo mo san ehyasie wo my Ghana ha eno de January penny for Mr. Commissioner General the Ghana Revenue Authority owura Anthony Kwesi Sapon obon humodin ekopie mu ewo dwumedie ase ande nsem dodo na tudwa woche mu se wo mode hihye pa egu kwan se ka ene no ama bia atwe o my Ghana abone bono wo mehwe ama wo mo asoni nia no a eno ade a ebebua wo man ye papa same way ana Commissioner General Edma Ghana Revenue Authority onmenyamfo Anthony Kwesi Sapon wono so wodi etudwa ewo Public Account Committee no ase.
With the entities that are not in the country, what are you doing to ensure that these monies are collected at the right time?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Once again, we have notified Petroleum Commission that anytime they come around, since they are the first point of contact, we will use their channels to remind them and also to collect the funds. The second one is that we have multilateral arrangement with countries under what we call the exchange of information. And we have submitted their debts to the countries that these entities are originally registered as a means for our sister authorities to support us in recovering the amounts that are due to them. So these are the two-pronged approaches, Honorable Chair, we are using to recover these amounts.
Is there any modality in place to ensure that this does not reoccur?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So these amounts were very legacy, but subsequently we have put in place measures to make sure that they do not reoccur. One, we have strengthened our collaboration with Petroleum Commission and GNPC, since these institutions are the first point of call, and they also grant some level of licenses to ensure that entities that are not fulfilling their obligations in this matter do not get the necessary permits until they do so. Chairman, we've also strengthened the early collection of this amount. So, for instance, in respect of 2025, all the major operating entities have paid their surface rental.
Ebusia fanuti nsamwe anampeni for edi abetujwa yensu yedi bi ababesom we wono sia kase ne so yegyina sa wo mu semisu ne twa ye ho akodi aboafo nkrato abaye bansem no edo so na meto aso edi ama.
Medogbena mi Ghana duko duaja ple ho duko kata. Mie chonyani adevena mi cho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajradopa. Mie wana susu savings, adishie, school buafo, cashback, ple bubwa okata. Nenyebe egajom de mi agbo la letie tomegbeko ateun ahoga dodo. Kenenyebe egajom vivi la nenyebe ogahia ola atenwa ava de ogai kene hia fa.
Tanenyebe mi foncho mi afa jom yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church financing elemiashi, salary loan elemiashi, eye bubo li kenye personal loan. Nenyebe mi foncho business loan a enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao. Nenyebe washiba keke alom eleswe we have talent. Mi pepegede nwo nenye wo shigbale sua ne woge wo kekegede ji to talent pomonu ome nenye be mi fonchu mi afa salary loan a enye gado mo mi ke mi vuna mi afa jirudu $1 nke ga nyo he ya va talent wo pay slip pe bank statement ye kwenye nwi hia o na kokko ko salary loan le rate mi to keke akeji church financier personal loan va nenye habobo masoli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe kekeake mie flegeno na nohem v choji nto jinwade bare kwereka mpopo kai ganyu heya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado monwa anobo buenami akpenami
Ezibe ya nyafi ke talent la.
Talent Microfinance Jengo Amegan Shipe Ape Letina Tejibo Hotame.
Miape Kapo Moyenya 050-129-1298. Hello 050-128-9119. Talent Woga Kwamanu Banto.
Talent Microfinance, your channel of wealth.
Yo, I'm a for and I am a kwaba at the bar, a KFM musical shopper. You told me, no, who free a Kumasi Malcolm that Damono, a sunny at the bar at Dumino, Sabran Udu, a Sambra Junction, Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. Now shop no any Sambra Hotel and the Dinja anymore. Would the free Sambra Hotel, a whole sunny at the co, Nankane and Hagan Hono, Annie, a hot and a KFM musical shop. Dear Tosumino, yet be no fofro. Now, dear Ekani said, if you dear papa, a timiche, dear Odia, sorry, dear Udi grow agro ahudo. Juma dear be a woody over here, a young figure, musical instrument piano, a KFM, into a say Ghana Muntie Asante Mai Muntie, a KFM musical shop, Anna Sabre, Yabian fofro Monochai, a war Premper the 2nd Street. We free all men come down and now sunny at the co adumno and Udu Sambra Hotel Quantana so now what done on Sandy Faso or Anna's KFM musical shop ye a walk Yanni Sambra Hotel Anna ewe anymore ya chow abribia
Gran Messi Sir Mayor Proud and I say Mayor Jar Nefree Kumasi Yadu KFM instrument store. Obi bisa sa se bomen fo dia what to no woni si da what dey near my papa e gina woni na what to say yes what to no bibi aka wakoma ni nyina free KFM instrument store Kumasi Adum se mi tra na me to no ma mi tibi nya ho me ka fi se fi papa mu anim na mi gina no wo be tra ye ko ma ya do se kana twa nanka kana u ensemfu ayi.
For your time, Mamina Aquaba, Edam was saying, Memugusu, Etimo TV, no harm motion, we see a cassia, work KFM TV, and so Mikoso Eka was saying, you may send me a chegu, a way our Befontin, Tampidi, so Facebook and YouTube, KFM TV GH, and on to bet me, I should be now wash now like, now I don't churn so. Ode Guasia, Ama Mekama, Meton 7 said the amount there, a year Eastern Regional Police, a public relations officer. The Magana National Fire Service, Ignatius, Kwame na Beidu. Now what the Abetuja watch him say, Quenche CL Mancron, I woke Kumasi, young crying, Kumasi Quantum Ponos no, or more air chims, how Quenchani see any pa best 37 day, dear son and soon dear, or more April per papa, or more ago Ayarabia, or more Jaya, she move back also there. Or no war fast so at one anonymous Ewan Cedra and no Ayara who same year papa in some way and a public relations officer at Magana National Fire Service were the Etu Eja.
January 2026, we received a distress call at 6:55 at our Suhum fire station reporting of an accident that had occurred at Mancron on the Accra-Kumasi stretch. Now, as soon as it happened, we didn't waste any time at all. We quickly deployed our men. Within 12 minutes, we were at the scene. So we got there at 07:07 hours. And when we got to the scene, we observed that VIP bus, a Zumtong bus, a 40-seater bus, with registration number AS-7022-21, and a diesel truck with registration number GW-3969-U had been involved in an accident. Now, this accident had a total of 38 casualties. Now, of these casualties, one of them, unfortunately, being a mate of the VIP bus, passed on, he reported. And the VIP driver was stuck in the bus as at the time we got to the scene. So, there were 21 males and 17 females. And of the 21 males, the driver was included. Now, as I said, when we got to the scene, the driver was stuck in the car. So we had to deploy our extrication tools to free him. So we were able to do this, and then we handed him over to the ambulance service. But the unfortunate death of the mates, we handed him over to the Ghana Police Service. Now, fortunately, like I said, when we got to the scene, all the other casualties had been rescued before our arrival, and we had picked up information that they had sustained minor injuries. So we thank God for that it wasn't worse. And some of them were taken to the Sun Government Hospital for medical attention.
Ebusi afanu ntin semwe and Ghana National Fire Service in Penny for Eddie Abetu Jayen so yedi bi ababesum yedi wo efri sansem no akonsem from there do kopie mu wo Bono East Mante mu na ye Bono East Regional Assembly wo mo de Abetu Jayen chese persons with disabilities a wo wo no emu be se 60 de o ma bom homoden a support yo mu a eno ade bia eyeye papa person so mu ina wo mu hiambwa initiative bia abana no ana omode o ho ahye ma wetimi aboa sankofo we na se wo mo susu wo betimi enya bibi ede akọ wo man ura
mampeni de ntia medical ndi asida ma no se oba ye common fan no wapadam nti ama kwata mienu na yedika nya aye no ebi aba betomu a na ebeso se wo mo de adesrade any applications aba no ye hwe na ye pe bibi eso ma se ne pe ade a wo mo ade ba se wo mo hwe no anu nti se na hu bibi sa na ye nuanu mo a wo mo di dem a wo mo ntimi nya adwuma se de ye adwuma no aban hye wo se ye so wo ma se no ena ya hye wo ma se ne na assembly no ya ndemeda no ye nhyehyɛ se de ye be ya wo mo center kura no a ya si ama wo mu no ye de e be pemfidie ni nneama ba mu a wo mo epese esua adwuma no betimi asua adwuma ene ebinya deep freezers ebinya fidie a ye de yam fufuo ene banche emole ebin so ska adisodiya ba se wo hia startup capital ska wo mo de be hye egadi ase ebin so de school fees ebin so de medical bills wo mo ko ayaresabia bi ko bi epeska kwa ayaresabia akutua wo mo kan ne niama nti bia ya yeni ye de abo wo mo se de be ya wo mo bejae akwanso asresre aso da mu ne mosque ube hu na wo mo awura ho na aiso mo sreska bibia eni wo mo nti akwanya ye abai ye boye ho mo de se sa asrasre no ebi nkoso we district yi mu nuanom a wo mo adidam no mi gidi se yenso ye di wo mo dwuma soronko e wo parliament ene wo mo at disability caucus in parliament yenso ye no mota edinsa wo so bene Ghana Federation of Disabilities any wo mo other organizations na wo mo wo hono na no edinsa wo so se na be ya wo mo act no a ene aya outdated no a wo se sign Revised Act no ye di hu dwuma de ne e bo ho pa ye se enche biara sa act no mo de ba parliament a ebetumi a review act no ama e de no mo bebre agumu a be tumi aboa disability wo mo asetena ebu e wo education amoma suamu e wo mo egbedi mo ne wo access to public facilities a nyina no em se ya na entumi emwa wo mo kase bebre
afibia e be ko so ayeden aye as to when I be receive application and I say time yen sabeka common fund bia no PWD almost is the nyada e beja omho de bia e be fa DC so
yet one sem so edo akonsem from dia edu kopiem e wa biupe eye akonhia eno so esi wo ho a eye ejahihye bi ekoso eno anam so ama fire service for ye omho say wo mokọ na nkomakọ so ejana no na e ma omokọ no no so wo mo eye hyen a omode ko ne ko dane ya eno enam so ma eye fire service person obe se num de wo mo eprepare papa ye de omoko gwa yare sabia wo mo eje ayarhwe e wo
Even if she, first time you saw us, see how we talk. Oh, one more lad. Let's go. Oh. Yeah. Even if she, first time you saw us, talk to see
Ebusianfo no nti eye fire service personnel say ana wo mo prepare ide o makogwa ya sabia wo mo eje ya hwe eno enam se ma PRO Edma Ghana National Fire Service was Savannah region Salisu Mohammed wono so edin sembi etudwa efa akwanhia ehuna ne nsem no ebi ana yede esomo no.
The Bupe Fire Command received a running call in the morning reporting an incident of a surface fuel tank fire in Bupe. Quickly, the men were dispatched to the scene. Upon reaching there, the driver veered off the road and fell on his side. The men who were involved in the accident were quickly transferred to the government hospital in Bupe. As we speak, 2 of them received treatment and then they were discharged, but 3 others were in a critical condition. The chief fire officer reassured the men of the best medical care. The regional commander, DO2 Abubakar Al-Hassan, dispatched the men from Damangu to go and assist their counterparts in Bupe. And in the process, he also requested that the men should be transferred to the teaching hospital in Tamale. But the medical officer there assured us that they have all the facilities necessary to take care of our men. That was what transpired this morning as far as the incident is concerned. Yes. As we speak, there isn't any death recorded, but 5 of our men were involved in the accident.
Ebusianfo no nti nsɛmwe ana PRO Edma Ghana National Fire Service Mohammed Salisu wono so wode abetudwa yedi bi aba besum yegyina ne nsɛm so ne adane ho sima ba ye ba asɛm no yede kɔ edwadie emu. Ebusianfo yedo ekwadwade nsamudia ndadie ana Public Account Committee na wo chairperson Abna Osei Asari edie nimu na ndadie wo mosan ekwasetena ewo my Ghana ha eno the Bank of Ghana wo Governor Johnson Esiama ekopie mu ewo dwumedie yase eno enam so mampanifo ebisa ne nsam dodo na de fa gold board ho wo mo se aban edin hye ebase gold body wo mo beyi edie fo ni nia eno wo musika wo mo chese wo Ashre no ana Abna say Asari ebisa Bank of Ghana wo Governor Johnson Esiama so sade we nokre ana say enya nokre na nsem we ana wo mo de tu dwa wo account committee no ase.
But Governor, I want to find out from you. You mentioned some losses that had been incurred for the Gold for Oil program and the Gold for Reserve program as well. And then in 2024, you mentioned that you had incurred a loss of 1.8 billion for the Gold for Oil program. So based on that, the board advised you to end the Gold for Oil program. In that same vein, you're telling us that there was a 3.8 billion Ghana cedis loss for the Gold for Reserve program. Why did the board not advise you to also bring to an end the Gold for Reserve program? Because when you compare the losses, this is 3.8 billion, and that is more, I can say, almost twice that of the Gold for Oil program. In that same vein, I'm just asking, why did the board not advise that you also cancel this?
So the first probably reference is to observe that since we canceled the Gold for Oil in May last year, we haven't seen a build-up of queues at the pumps. Because one of the objectives for the Gold for Oil was to support that. And so we believe that the cancellation was worth it. There were quite too many issues under the Gold for Oil that we needed to unearth. And therefore, the board authorized an external audit. We got PPA approval for the audit just about 2 months ago, And so that exercise is underway. In the case of the Gold 4 reserves, as the name suggests, the objective was to help us build reserves. Now, based on the data that NAR has provided so far, the evidence is clear that it is not a question of shutting it down, but it's the question of enhancing its efficiency, looking at inefficiencies that you have to take out. And that is why we went after.
Ebusiafo no tinsem we Anna Johnson esiama wode etudwa na nsem no wan face wa wasan editudwa bi ma wo chem se so omo banks ahodon wo mbeja isika bim ama na akọ bebi a na wo se wo munya eye permission edi free controller and accountant general wo maka chance a omo banks wo mbetimi release sika bi edi amo bibi ansem we Anna Johnson esiama wasan editudwa e wo dwumedie no ase.
Just wanted you to put on record your mandate when it comes to payments of projects. Like you said.
Yes, so rightly so.
Yes, I want you to be clear on that.
Yes,
for
it is just like you have your own account with any bank. At the end of the day, you operate the account. The mandate is clear on that. And so controller, in my view, has plays that role. Ours is to ensure that the underlying vouchers are what they are, and instructions, follow what controller has authorized. We have our risk management department that also screens these payments, but the authority, the payment instructions, all that is effected through the controller.
For our logo, as an example, monies were paid. Nothing was done over there. And there was confusion about who was supposed to have gone to check whether whether work was done or not. In that case, where do we put the responsibility?
Madam Chair, I believe that borders on issues about value for money. That doesn't sit with us. As I explained, we go by the documentation. We are a banker, for government. And so controller, Ministry of Finance, those agencies will be able to explain who does the value for money checks. What we do is to go by the underlying documentation, that dictates how the account is operated.
With all due respect, cost of value for money doesn't come in at all. Monies were paid to a contractor, but no work was done. So, controller must have sent the documentation to Bank of Ghana for you to pay. So, in that case, it's controller that we have to go to. Is that the case? Because nothing was done over there.
Controller and any other agency will be able to speak to that, not us.
Governor, that is why from the beginning I gave you the opportunity to establish what Bank of Ghana does, and then it ends there, so that the people of Ghana knows that.
Ebusiafo no tinsem we ana Bank of Ghana wo mo Governor Johnson esiama wode abetu dwanwume ya yenso ye de bi ababesom ye gina nsem so na ya da na ye ho sima ba nsem no ye ba ye de ko enigede emu. Ya de wo ekwa ni jede nsem de Ghana nyumtuni abai ya ba na nyumto e wo my Ghana ha wo bone homodin wo mu ye papa wendi she ana meka ne ho asemi na ndedwe wo de abetudwa wo chem se eye Telesel Ghana Music Award afi we de no wo bone homodin se Artist of the Year no ebetimi akọ edi aman no nti wo bone homodin se bibi se ebetimi akọ aman na se kwama na e ade anani ebeji ye papa wendi she nsem no ebi eni.
Welcome from Nigeria.
Thank you.
How was it?
It was amazing. It was a great experience. It's my first time going to Nigeria. So it was really great.
So Yes, since we are back from Nigeria, what's next for you?
Great things, bigger things, way bigger things. Like I have a lot of projects in the pipeline. Yes, I love to keep my fans in suspense. I'm not gonna tell you yet.
So some people have started campaigning for you to get so they are aware of it. What's your take on it? This victory, what do you have to say?
I mean, we are in for it, you know. We keep working hard, and I feel like I'll be very grateful if I get the award. Of course, it will be really amazing to see a female secular artist win it for the first time alive. You understand? It's going to be a great inspiration for a lot of female upcoming artists to look up to me as an inspiration. You understand? And especially with my story, how I wasn't so well received in the industry. I think even both for male and female, but for female especially, because it's really not that easy for women to thrive in this industry. So let's just do it for the women.
Ebusia fa no ntinsem we ana wandi she ade abeto dwa yenso yedi bi ababe somo medina ni se meso na mede enwumre no nsia kase no bidini abawe ne wie yensem no na edoso ye papa de di mu akotini ebiani se Dennis Miracle Aboaje ende dwe wode nsem bi ebeto dwa edifa NDC amenioko no ene illegal mining ekoso ewo my Ghana han no yede mu nsem yede ebesomo enwumre sa enso ana okopiem ewo mankon enda eya akwenhye wo hono no enam suma nipa best 37 there womo eprepa ye papa omugwa yaresabia baako enso eto anananum ewo nsiedo ayede mu nsem yede ebesomo yede dwede nsem eka ho edema eye Bank of Ghana womo gamna wone abna oseya sare ehia eno de womo kasafa Ghana yesika sem ene yenkan ko ho anu so yede mu nsem yede ebesomo we ni jede nsem no Wendy Shea enso edi abetudwa wo chem se eye Telisa Ghana Music Award dwumedie no eye 2026 senkunimdie kwama no be Artist of the Year ade aneni ebeje ho ye papa no so yede mu nsem yede ebesom weni nsem ne afofo pie ayebo ano anwe yede ebesom se no nsia kase wo KFM TV ne so yebeda yabo afo ase KFM Musical Center dada batek up and Talent Microfinance wo mo anenwume wo mo eso yasne ma yede nsem no yede ba ebesom okenkan fo eye me mami esinkroma yakamwina